History is the academic discipline that deals with the study of the past. It is derived from the Greek word historia, meaning the knowledge acquired through investigation. History includes the academic discipline which has a narrative to describe, examine, question, and analyze a sequence of past events and investigate the pattern of cause and effect that are related to them. Prehistory is another category within history that deals with the past events prior to the invention of writing system. The historical method comprises the techniques and guidelines by which historians use primary source and other evidence to research and then to write history. History is a discipline which is the study of past through various sources such as records, archaeology and text, etc. The sources can be divided into two parts as follows. Sources of archaeology. First one, material remains. These remains can be any object that people created, modified, or used. Portable remains are usually called artifacts. Artifacts include tools, clothing, and decorations. Non portable remains, such as pyramids or post holes, are called features. Archaeologists used artifacts and features to learn how people lived in specific time and place. They want to know that these people's daily life were like, how they were governed, how they interacted with each other, and what they believed and valued. For example 1, Bori caves of Maharashtra were the first evidence of human being in India had been found 1. Uh, it, wa- it was formed around 1.4 million years ago. Example 2, Pallavaram is the first Paleolithic culture site, etc. Apart from these, lot of artifacts, pottery, etc. were found during excavation, which gives an insight into the past and the lifestyle during those times. For example, the history of climate and vegetation is known through examination of plant residue and especially through pollen analysis, which was practiced in Rajasthan and Kashmir around 7000 to 6000 BC. Second one, coins. Most of the coins are found on the surface. However, many of them have been unearthed by digging. The study of coins is called numismatics. The ancient Indian currency was not issued in the form of paper but as metal coins made of copper, silver, gold, and lead. These show the growth of metallurgy during those times and also the importance of trade and commerce. The Guptas issued the largest number of gold coins, especially during post-Maurya times, which show the flourishment of trade and commerce during Gupta time. But only few coins of the post-Gupta period were found, which indicate the decline of trade and commerce. So, third one, inscription. Inscription are more and better evidence than coin. Any script written on the hard surface is called inscription and their study is called epigraphy. Inscription were carved on seal, stone, pillar, rocks, copper plates, temple walls and bricks or image. The oldest inscription are found on the seal of Harappa, which date back 2500 BC. However, they cannot be deciphered as it was written in the pictographic script in which ideas and objects were expressed in the form of pictures. The oldest inscription deciphered so far was issued by Ashoka in 3rd century BC, written in Brahmi script, which was written from left to right. Inscriptions are of many types, which can be administrative, political, religious, or social use. For example, Ashokan inscriptions mostly were regarding royal orders and decisions regarding political, social, and religious matter. Other inscriptions, such as recording land grants made by prince are used to understand the land system and administration of that particular period. Fourth one, monuments or sculptures. Monuments and sculptures can be used as a remembrance of a person or event which has become a part of cultural heritage. Five famous sculptures of India in India are the Pillar of Ashoka, also known as Ashoka Pillar, as a series of columns scattered across India. Sanchi Stupa, Ajanta Caves, Kailasa Temple, Dancing Girl of Mohenjo-daro, etc. Five famous monuments in India are the Taj Mahal, Red Fort, Qutub Minar, Mahabalipuram, Konark Sun Temple. Sources of history. Religious literature. The ancient Indians knew writing as early as 2500 BC, which were mainly religious themes. It includes the Vedas and the Ramayana, the Mahabharata and Puranas, etc. Though they explain the way of social and cultural life during those times, but it is difficult to make use of them in the context of time and space. The literature during the Vedic period, such as the Vedas and Upanishads, deal with rituals, prayers, and philosophy. To understand Vedic literature, one need to learn Vedangas. Ancient literature is the extension of history. It is nothing but a hypothesis. The work of Kalidasa such as Abhignana Shakuntalam provide glimpse of the social and cultural life of northern and central India during the Gupta age. Second, secular literature. The word secular generally refers to worldly than spiritual. In ancient India, there were many kinds of literature that were non-religious literature. The law books of ancient India known as Dharma Sutras and Smritis belong to this group. These literary books were known as secular literature. These books had a code of duties of king, administrators and people. They also had rules regarding property and prescribed punishment for murder, theft, other crimes. Kautilya's, popularly known as Chalukya's Arthashastra, is the best example of secular literature. Indica, written by Megasthenes, is one more example of this type of work. Panini and Patanjali, though they had written in Sanskrit grammar, also describe some political events, are also good example of secular literature. Next, foreign accounts. The literary text of foreign travelers and historians help us to fill the gaps found in our text and view of an outsider of our culture and society, administration, etc. Author Megasthenes. Book Indica. Subject is valuable information on administration and socio-economic of Mauryan India. Second one, Ptolemy. His book on geography. Geographical treatise on India in 2nd century AD. Third one, author Pliny. His book Naturalis Historiasis, which include accounts trade relation between Rome and India in 1st century AD. Fourth book is Periplus of Erythraean Sea. It includes records personal voyage of Indian coast in 80 AD. Author Fahian, book Records of the Buddhist Countries. Subject Records on Gupta Empire in the 5th century AD. Author Huan Sang, book name Buddhist Records of the Western World. He describes the social, economic and religious condition of India in the 5th, 7th century AD. Author Eidsting, his book Record of the Buddhist Religion as Practiced in India and Malay Archipelago. He studies the Gupta period under Sri Gupta in the 7th century AD. Hui Si, his book Life of Yuan Sang, accounts of Yuan Sang travels in India. Next, civilization around the world. Civilization is a complex human society that may have certain characteristics of cultural and technological development. The word civilization is from the Latin word civitas, meaning city. In many parts of the world, early civilization formed when people began coming together in urban settlements. Civilization are further defined by socio-political economic characteristics such as centralization, the domestication of animals, specialization of labor, culturally ingrained ideologies of progress, monumental architecture, taxation, societal dependence upon farming, etc. The earliest emergence of civilization is generally associated with the final stage of the Neolithic Revolution, culminating in the relatively rapid process of urban revolution, the state formation, a political development associated with the rise of the governing elite. This coincide with the late Chalcolithic and early Bronze Ages. The first civilization emerged in the Fertile Crescent, which consists of a Mesopotamian and Egyptian civilization, the Indus Valley civilization, the Chinese civilization, and through much later the independent civilization of the Mesoamerica and Andes. Mesopotamian civilization, also known as Sumerian civilization, it evolved in the basin of the rivers Euphrates and Tigris in the modern-day country of Iraq and Syria. Egyptian civilization is one of the oldest civilization along with the Mesopotamian civilization. It was based around the Nile River Valley and Nile Delta in the modern country of Egypt. Indus Valley civilization, it is also popularly called the Harappan civilization after one of the first site discovered. It grew around the valley of Indus River and its major tributaries. It had the largest geographic extent of any ancient civilization. It is also called Bronze Age civilization as bronze was used abundantly. Chinese civilization, it emerged in northern China around the Huanghe River basin. Mesoamerican civilization, these developed in central Mexico and nearby region on a much later date as compared to the old world civilization. Andean civilization, similar to Mesoamerican civilization, this also grew independently on the slope of Peruvian Andes, the Pacific coastal valley downhill.